everyone. Welcome to Mental Shift. I have to do my quick disclaimer really quickly. The opinions made by the host or guest do not reflect those of the show, management, the Bender Carey Group, or its ancillaries. So, welcome along to Mental Shift, Reach Your Full Market Potential. And today I have a good friend of mine. I just met him actually, but he's going to be a really good friend of mine by the end of the show. His name is Rolf, and he is the executive coach at Cornerstone Performance Group. And I wanted you to meet him because he's quite wise and pretty sharp. So we get to meet him together. How about that?
It's a high expectation I got to live up to.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. This is fun, exciting.
Well, I'm going to pick your brain.
Let's pick away. I hope you find something in there.
Oh, there's so much to go. I heard his story, so I'm going to act like I don't know it, and then I'll eventually make him tell it to you because it's really cool. Now, what made you become an executive coach? I mean, what brought you to this world?
You know, it's funny. I do, in that, and we'll learn more about that, I do career coaching, and I was trying to figure out my own career early in my life. I started off in a financial analyst role. Quite frankly, I was bored with it. And a friend of mine who happened to be in executive search says, why don't you try this business? And I did, and I found I just loved helping people grow and get better and transition. So I kind of fell into it. And I found, where I could use kind of the servant heart part of me. But then as I got more and more involved, I started getting more and more interested in professional development, how people grew and transitioned and what made people successful. And then it further blossomed into leadership characteristics. And I just become enthralled with human and corporate success and the art and science of it. And it just kind of swept me up. So I'd like to say it was part of a life master plan, but it wasn't. Thank God it developed into a passion. And sometimes I think passion is an overused word, but I mean, you get it. I know you get it.
I do.
And where it finds you, and then you just embrace it and run with it. But it's all about relationships. And here we are meeting through a variety of circumstances, and every new relationship you're enriched. And I've just found every new client enriches me because it's first relationship and then how you can help people. So.
Exactly. Well, and that's why I wanted him on the show, because on Mental Shift, we talk about successful businesses, and basically something always happens in the life of that entrepreneur that clicks, and they go from one thing to another thing very quickly, and I don't even know how I got here, but here I am, and I'm loving what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And that's why I wanted you on the show, because you are the perfect example of it.
Yeah.
And, so as an executive coach, he started this business because the same reason I started the podcast, reaching out to people and helping people grow into the best versions of them. It's what we love to do. It's our heart, right? Mm-hmm. Now, are you going to share the story, your background story?
Well, I've got a few of them. I think the one you're referring to was an event that happened to me that was a life lesson event.
Changing.
Right. It was a catalytic event in how I changed my focus and my why. I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to play major college football at Ohio State University. Us homies of Ohio State, we like to say the Ohio State University.
The Ohio State.
But I was playing at the time under legendary coach Woody Hayes. He was a very well-known nationally recognized coach, been there, I think, 26 years. And so I recall, at that age, you're thinking, boy, I just want to make it on the big stage and be an outstanding player, be recognized, people recognize, autographs and all of that. And you get kind of wrapped up into that, and it became kind of all about football. And then I remember early one year, my junior year, we're going through a normal practice a couple of weeks into the season, and all of a sudden I suffered a severe injury where I got hit in the side. It was actually a spleen injury. And I discovered 4 days later when my head coach came in the hospital and woke me up at 6 o'clock in the morning to tell me I was done playing football. Now it was really originally communicated to me, you're done playing football and you should not play anymore because you're more susceptible to injury of that kind. It can be a very severe injury. And my whole world turned upside down overnight. So, if any people out there were athletes or had other goals like that, and life-changing events, could be an illness or whatever, um, it just kind of interrupts your plan, well then, where do you go? And to kind of fast forward a little bit, it really came down to what I learned in sports is, how do I finish? Okay, things have changed. I had to come to that reality. It took a little while to adjust to it and watch things from the sideline. But how do I finish? I want to finish well. I think we even in life, we want to play well, do well, and then finish well. Leave a legacy, right? Well, what am I going to learn from this experience? And even though they suggested I not come back, I wanted to come back another year and try to rehab myself back, because it was a slow healing process, and finish on my terms. Now, clearly, when you miss a whole season, you're set back. So, I lost weight and all kinds of things, had to try to gain it back, but I was never quite back to the level of performance that I was before. And I knew my football days were going to end in college. But the decision I made, and the important was, I'm going to finish on my terms. I'm going to do what I can control and only what I can control, and that's how I finish. So that's the decision I made. And so that has stuck with me my entire life, not only my life, but Coach, it's the journey. A lot of times we grow in the journey, not the destination, right? We're still in the journey. I know you are, I am. We advise people and we teach through various mediums, but we're still in our own journey. And we hope we're getting it right so we can help other people get it right. But a lot of times we're working with people that are in situations where they don't know what finish is. They don't know the end goal. It's like what's right in front of them is freaking them out. So we have to help them process that, set new direction, set a new vision, and then help them finish. But the one thing I try to help people understand is, look, life is going to deal you things you can't predict. So when you have this end game, vision, it's probably not going to end up that way. It's going to end up some other way. So I kind of break things down into phases of life. What phase of life are you in today? Mm-hmm. Let's master that. Let's get this phase right. That sets us up for the next phase that will yield surprises, or the surprise may cause us to adjust. But let's get it right today. Let's finish today well. And that was, like I said, a catalytic moment for me that I learned years ago in sports, that stayed with me, that's tried to help me influence others, to persevere through the journey, enjoy the ride, but finish well on your terms. And let's just own today in this phase of our life.
Now do you know why I have him on the show? I always quote Byron Katie, because I always say, there's only three types of control in this world. There's my control, or your control, the other person's control, and God's control, or the universe's control. And basically what he said is, he realized, okay, football's not that plan that I had, that end game isn't happening anymore. What can I do with what I have? I mean, how can I control my mindset for what I want? And then he shifted around. He's still in that world, but not in the world he thought he was going to be. But from the lessons you learned, you were able to help other people. And that's what's so magical about life, that it doesn't really matter how things happen to us. I mean, in my TEDx, I talked about three things. You have to always have a goal, right? It's good to have a goal, but it's okay if the goal shifts. And it's okay if the way you get to your goal shifts, but have a goal. Enjoy the little things in life. Enjoy today, precious today. And then, of course, stay out of ruts. If you're getting stuck in something and you're miserable, then step away from it. Do something different. Get away from it. And you did that in your life. Mm-hmm. And now you're giving it back to the world as a coach. And that is why I thought it was so important to share you with my audience, and then, spread the good word.
A lot of times we take things away from our parents. I know you have, I believe it's your mother, very influential to you. My mother was to me, and my father, but she always said, a setback is a setup for a comeback. And and I know that little colloquialism has been around a while, but it's really stuck with me. And it's what we choose to do with it. and how we choose to change that paradigm to make things that appear to derail us. How are we going to make that a positive?
Yeah, gotta bounce.
Right, you do. And vision casting is a very hard thing to do. It's easy to talk about, but it's very hard. And sometimes you need help. But I think when you go to your inner self, your inner values, and really kind of separate yourself, create that bubble from the world and the bad influences and things like that, and get kind of find that internal peace, that can begin to help you break out of that and cast that vision of what's next. It's funny because when sport was taken away from me, it came back years and years later that I didn't expect. I had an opportunity through a series of things to be asked to be a high school football coach. Now, I thought I was done with football and certainly done playing. I knew I was, and always watched it from the outside as a fan and admire and miss the game, etc. Well, 13 years ago, I was asked to be a high school football coach at a school near where I live, and I thought, well, that might be fun. I can get back involved in football. Can I make it work with my work? And at that time, I was contemplating leaving the corporate world, which I had been in for years, and getting into my own private practice. And as things happened, I said, all right, let's give it a shot. I'll give it a couple of years and scratch the itch and move on. Well, that's 13 years ago. And I've been with a very nationally recognized, successful program here in Colorado. And what I found was I had a whole new audience of people to influence, young men that some have it together, others don't, some are in between. But another mission came out. It's not me as a player, because I was affected very positively by coaches, and I reflected back on that. How can I use this platform now to take one of our most important assets of our country is our youth, and what impact can I have in a different way and impact them, and then have the fraternal aspect of being with other coaches that are trying to build young men up, and then be back in the game. I still love the game. I still love what goes on between the white lines and the competition, and it still fires me up. But it came back full circle in another way. And after a while, I said, I kept saying, well, should I coach again? And it's kind of maybe a little diversion from my career. And I said, no, that's part of me. And that's central, that rounds me out. I got plenty of room for my career and things like that, but there's another level that I can give. So it came back full around. What I thought my cup ran out, it got filled back up in another way through sport as a high school football coach. And I love it.
Find your passion. Find your passion. You cannot turn things off and say it's gone if that's your passion. He has found time to get back into football, because did you see how his eyes lit up? That's what I talk about every day that I talk to anyone in the podcast or on social media, whatever I'm doing, is find what lights you up, and everything else just kind of falls into place. It does.
Oh, it does.
And look in your dark moments. If you think things are going bad in your life and things are off and, oh, I can't do this, or I'm sick, or whatever it is, there's a light in there. There's a silver lining. And I know it's a cliche, but he and I both found the silver lining. We are not special, okay? We are normal humans who figured it out, and we're coaches to help you figure it out. It's pretty cool. There's always a way around it. Look into the darkness. There's got to be a silver lining, whatever situation. Find the passion, how you can use whatever's happening to enhance whatever you wanted to do in the first place.
Two other things I learned in my own growth is serving is part of my growth, right? And at different times, we all go through life issues. We as coaches, we're not void of our own life issues and problems and challenges,
What?
right?
Yeah.
I know you don't. I know you can't relate to that.
Yeah, everything's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So the serving helps put things in perspective. I think that's pretty important. But it's I think trusting the journey. It's trusting whatever you deem as your foundation, whether it's a higher faith in God or whatever. I think you have to have some things outside of yourself that you have to root yourself in and trust. And not everything will be or can be or should be laid out in some kind of perfect format. You just have to take the step. some action is better than no action at all. Even if it's the wrong action, you'll learn and grow from it.
And then shift.
And then shift. And I think so. It's taking the step, and then the next step after that, and the next step after that, and surround yourself by positive people that fills your cup, and know what are some of the stressors, and try to avoid those, and seek to fill those cups. The other thing that I learned is, as I was trying to get better in my craft, when I would have to study to teach, whether it's football or whether it's business or coaching, when I had to learn to teach, I got more out of teaching than I think, like sitting in a classroom, because it forced me to have to go to that next intellectual level to get better to help someone else. So when you're involved in different aspects, it could be a nonprofit or volunteer at church or some other organization, get involved and put yourself in a position where you have to learn, teach, influence others, because you're going to grow when you put something into it to your own development. And you'll not only fill the cup of others, but you'll fill your own, because you're filling yourself with new knowledge that you're going to share.
It forces you to step out of yourself
Right.
and look in. And I think when you do that, you see a bigger picture that will help you even evaluate your own life when you're helping other people. And I think that's why I got into coaching also. It's just, it helped me view a different way. And I went, you know what I think is a problem really isn't a problem. I just need to look at it from another point of view.
Absolutely.
Now, what he also pointed out, success is in every step you take towards whatever your dream, even if it's a wrong step. It's doing the mental shift, that's the name of the whole show, having that mental shift to realize, hey, it's not that bad, I can move. Now, back to your business. You specialize in helping people with transitioning. Can you please explain that?
Yeah, it's kind of a wide spectrum. So I do two areas. I've got what I'll call business to consumer. So in other words, the retail market. I help individuals that come to me privately to help them as they're trying. Maybe they're in a career transition, don't have a job. Many in this economy, they do have a job. They're just trying to better their situation. They're or maybe they're stuck or confused, etc. And the other side could be, on the corporate side, where companies will hire me for coaching. But it's basically around helping people enhance their career, develop leadership skills, the kinds of things to help them go to the next level, but also help them with kind of career and performance management. There's something, they're stuck. They have certain behavior characteristics that are getting in their way. They're stallers, they're derailers to their career. And they can't figure it out on their own. All they know is they're getting feedback and it's not working. It's maybe cost them a job or a promotion, or they've got some kind of correction. And they have to have some kind of sustained behavior change to go to the next level. And sometimes all three of those things are going on at the same time. And so what I do is come in and first of all, it's a lot of an initial situational analysis. Listen, learn, ask questions. You can't learn by talking. And you can't help other people solve their problems if you don't allow them to express it.
Well, and they won't accept it until they hear it out of themselves.
Exactly. And really, I think the art of coaching is facilitate out of the coachee the solution from them, and how you can do that, help them discover some of their own things and they embrace it quicker. But so it comes to me a lot of ways. I've been doing this now for a while, so it comes to me organically, just through somebody heard me speak or write or got referred to. But I also have had a long history of just dealing with people. So, it's whether it's companies, et cetera, it's just kind of repeat business that way. But the bottom line is I love helping people that are going through change. Now, I don't call myself a life coach. Others do. Although I know you do too. We're always involved in life issues.
Yes, always. I don't call myself a life coach, but life is around everything else.
There's always a story behind the story. There's a reason. And you've got to listen and know what the primary purpose for the change or the growth is, and what problems, challenge, or opportunities people are trying to seek or overcome. So after listening, and then usually there's formal assessment, and you get benchmark where you want to go, decide on the direction, and then create a plan of action around achieving that direction. And so it's, there's a method to madness. I don't like, I think I don't try to take a psychological approach, although psychology is important to help get people unstuck. But really it's more of a practical approach. But, it's applying a lot of my own mistakes I learned, I've had different things that say, well, I should have done that more, better, different in my career. But I learned from those and grew from them, and then I just transplanted it. Now my own learnings in terms of what I do for others now.
Now, if anyone wants to reach Rex, how do they find you? Do they find you with Cornerstone Performance
Yeah,
Group?
go for Cornerstone. The number 4 is good way. Go number 4 Cornerstone. Go for Cornerstone. The company is Cornerstone Performance Group. You can Google it that way, and we can just have a conversation if you want. I mean, I really. I like my approach. If somebody wants to have a conversation, we just start consulting and coaching, and if it goes somewhere, fine. But I think the real thing is I just want people to feel encouraged, and whether it's me or somebody else or you, but seek help. Don't be embarrassed by it, or if not, find what your grounding, what grounds you, and attach to your roots and values, and start back to the basics. And I believe people can tap into that passion and that potential that seems not very obvious to them right now. It's there, and it's there in everybody.
Yes, and that's what coaches are for, to listen and help you see what's truly inside of you, because we've been doing it for a while, that we naturally see what our clients don't see. I mean, I can honestly look at someone and do, wow. But it takes a bit for me to talk and have them see it in themselves, and that's what you do also. So you can reach out to him at his website, and I'll have it on the image here and through the description, so you can get his website that you can reach out to.
I'll say one final thing, or a couple things. Number 1, be patient, be persistent, and know that change is a process, not an event.
Ooh, say that again.
Be patient, be persistent, and know that change is a process, not an event. And it will, with the right process, positive change will happen over time. It may not be your time, it could be God's time, could be somebody else, but it will happen positively if you
give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
If you're persistent enough to let it be and be patient.
Right.
I like that. It's a good way to end.
Thank you.
Well, Rex, it was wonderful to have you, and aren't you glad he showed up? I mean, really cool guy. He's in the Denver area, so if you're outside of Denver, please write him, but he's in the Denver area. You'll have to send him out to you if you want. Have a fabulous week, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to Mental Shift, reaching your full market potential, because sometimes in life, actually more than likely in life, when you're about to have some major breakthrough, you need to have a mental shift in order for it to happen. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.